Welcome to the Immigrantinlaw channel. If you are thinking about moving to the European Union and you're afraid that the absence of a diploma can be a hindrance, we have good news. Today we will talk about which EU countries you can legally work in without a diploma and proof of education, what professions are available, how to prepare documents, and what you should pay attention to. You will be surprised, but even without formal education, you can find a stable job and start a new life in Europe. Let's get this straight. In most EU countries, a diploma is really important, especially if you plan to work in regulated fields, medicine, law, engineering, education. Without a proven qualification, you will simply not be allowed to work there. But in Europe, there is an acute shortage of workers in less formal but very necessary spheres. And for such jobs, the employer looks not at the wallpaper degree, but at your skills, motivation, and willingness to work. Professions where you can get along without a diploma include elderly and childcare, cleaning services, help in warehouses, assembly lines, working on construction or renovation sites, agriculture, service in cafes, hotels, restaurants. Sometimes a little on-site training is enough. In many cases, it is enough just to be a reliable person, ready to work. These are the jobs that open doors to those who want to start from scratch, without unnecessary bureaucracy, and gradually adapt to life in the EU. Poland is considered one of the most open EU countries for labor migrants. Due to geographical proximity and similarity of languages, citizens of Ukraine, Belarus, Georgia, Armenia, Moldova, and Central Asian countries come here most often. The Polish labor market is experiencing an acute shortage of personnel in areas where higher education is not required. There is a stable demand for handymen in warehouses, packing, sorting goods, working with orders, factory workers, construction workers and construction helpers, caregivers and care assistants in nursing homes, cleaners in hotels, offices, and shopping centers. Most of these jobs do not require a diploma or proof of qualifications. Sometimes you don't even need to know Polish, especially if the job involves physical labor. Many employers offer free accommodation, meals, and assistance in applying for a work visa or pobytu card. Poland is a real chance to quickly legalize and start earning. And if you get everything right from the start, you can apply for a residence permit or even an EU residence card in just a year or two. The Czech Republic is another EU country that actively welcomes foreign workers without formal education. The Czech economy is based on industry, manufacturing, and logistics, and it is in these areas that there is a constant shortage of personnel. Czech employers regularly open vacancies for migrants in the following fields: plants and factories, packaging, quality control, assembly of parts, warehouses, receiving and sorting goods, in construction, outbuy and auxiliary work, cleaning services, hotels and hostels. These positions do not require a diploma, and training takes place on site, often at the employer's expense. At the same time, labor remuneration in the Czech Republic is higher than in most Eastern European countries, and living costs remain relatively moderate. Work visas are granted on a simplified basis, especially if you participate in the state labor migration program, which allows you to obtain a long-term residence and employment permit. Many start with simple jobs, and after a year or two, find the opportunity to be transferred to a more stable or skilled position. Germany is indeed known for its bureaucracy and high requirements for the recognition of qualifications, but this applies primarily to regulated professions: doctors, nurses, engineers, architects, and teachers. The situation is different in the field of physical labor. Germany is currently experiencing an acute shortage of staff in sectors such as elderly care, cleaning services, warehouse logistics, kitchen and auxiliary work in restaurants and cafes. These jobs do not require a college degree or proof of diploma. Moreover, many companies are willing to train employees from scratch right on the spot. This is called unbelohnte Arbeit, a job that does not require qualifications. There are also state programs and private initiatives that allow you to get a job and on its basis to obtain a residence permit with the right to extend it. The most common requirements are basic German, level A2, B1, a desire to work, and neatness. If you are not sure where to start, we will advise you on how to apply correctly, find jobs, and go through the legalization process step by step. If you are looking for relocation options closer to Eastern Europe, consider the Baltic states of Latvia and Lithuania. Despite their small size, their labor markets are booming, especially in logistics, light industry, and service. These countries regularly invite migrants from the CIS and Asia for low-skilled jobs, including packing and sorting of goods in warehouses, working in food and textile factories, agriculture, greenhouses, farms, cleaning, and domestic help. Advantages of the region: no degree or proof of qualifications required, many vacancies with accommodation. Employers often apply for work permits themselves, possibility to extend legal stay and obtain residence permits. It is also important that it is easier to adapt in these countries. Language proximity, cultural similarities, and a large Russian-speaking population make the move less stressful. If you are considering moving to the south of Europe, Spain and Portugal are countries with a mild climate and a warm attitude towards migrants. Although it is not always easy to get an official job without a diploma at once, there is a legal mechanism of gradual legalization, arraigo social, routing. The essence is simple. You stay in the country unofficially for 2-3 years while working, renting housing, learning the language and integrating into society. After that, you can apply for a residence permit under the routing procedure if you have a contract from your employer and proof of integration. What jobs are available without a diploma? Cleaning of apartments and hotels, assistants in restaurants and cafes, nannies, caregivers, domestic helpers, seasonal labor in agriculture. In many cases, it is possible to start with temporary or informal work and then, with our legal support, come out of the shadows and obtain legal status. This is not the quickest way, but it is absolutely realistic if you act competently and plan everything in advance. If you want to relocate quickly and start earning money, but you are not ready to apply for a long visa right away, look at seasonal jobs in Estonia and Finland. These countries open up thousands of positions for temporary workers every year, including those without diplomas, experience or language skills. The most sought-after jobs are pickers of berries, mushrooms and vegetables, farm and greenhouse workers, forestry helpers, movers and packers in warehouses. The main advantage is the ease of entry. A short-term labor visa or a special permit for seasonal work is sufficient. Often the employer helps with the paperwork, provides accommodation and transportation. This is an excellent option for those who want to earn money quickly, see the country and assess whether it is suitable for further relocation. And some people find a permanent job after the season and stay under other programs. France and Belgium are usually associated with high standards, diplomas and certification. This is true for doctors, teachers and technicians, but in fact there is also a constant need for low-skilled labor in these countries, especially in agriculture and the service sector. The most accessible occupations without a diploma: harvesting fruits, vegetables and grapes, working on farms and livestock facilities, car washing, cleaning, assisting in restaurants, kitchens and bakeries. Many employers arrange seasonal contracts that can be used to obtain temporary residence permits. Sometimes migrants start unofficially, but over time, with the support of lawyers, they legalize through contract or integration programs. France and Belgium value hardworking, punctual and reliable workers, and in some regions you can find a permanent job even without a diploma, especially if you are willing to do physical labor and learn the language. Absence of a diploma is not always a problem if you have practical work experience. For example, you have worked for several years as a painter, electrician, nurse or cook, even if without formal training. In many EU countries, this is considered a valuable asset, especially if there is confirmation from former employers or a portfolio of work completed. In some cases, it is possible to have a qualification recognized on the basis of experience without a diploma. In others, it is enough to get a job, take a short retraining course or an internship, and get a local certificate. This is easier and faster than a full-fledged higher education. There are also internal training programs at employers themselves. You start as a trainee, learn on the spot, and after a few months you get a contract. Even if a job vacancy does not require a diploma, it does not mean that you can come to the EU without documents at all. For official employment or a visa application, you usually need to prepare a basic package, a passport with sufficient validity, a criminal record certificate from your country, in some cases with apostille or translation, medical insurance covering the period of stay, photographs, application forms, accompanying documents, sometimes a medical or vaccination certificate, for example, for work with the elderly or in the food industry. It is also increasingly required to have at least a minimum level of proficiency in the language of the country, at the level of everyday communication. For example, A1, A2 in German, Polish, Czech, etc. The desire to save money and try to solve everything by yourself is understandable, but in the case of moving to the EU, this can turn into serious risks. Many people face the following problems: false vacancies and fake invitations from alleged employers, submitting documents in error and being denied a visa as a result, applying through dubious intermediaries, after which you are abandoned in a foreign country without support, working illegally, without insurance and license, with the risk of deportation and entry ban. When you work with our immigration company, you get verified vacancies from reliable employers, legal support and full control at all stages, from preparation of documents to your departure and adaptation on the spot. We take into account not only the formal requirements, but also the real risks faced by applicants from your country. This is not just a matter of saving time and nerves. It is a guarantee that your move will take place legally, safely, and with prospects for the future. As you have already realized, even without a diploma, you have real chances to get a job in the EU, legally, officially, with prospects. But it is important to understand, temporary work is just a start. Over time, you are bound to encounter restrictions. For example, employers are more willing to hire those with EU citizenship on a permanent basis. You will have access to the full labor market, including better paid and more stable professions. You will be able to move freely within the EU. It will be easier to apply for benefits, healthcare, get a mortgage, or start a business. Even if you started your journey as a packer or care assistant, becoming an EU citizen opens up completely different horizons for you. It is an investment in your family's security, freedom, and future. Acquiring citizenship is not a myth. It is a legally accessible path if you do everything correctly and step by step. This is what we work with every day. The Immigrantinlaw team accompanies clients from the first steps until they receive their EU passport. Leave a request for a free consultation with Immigrantinlaw lawyers. We will find the best relocation strategy for you, prepare all the necessary documents, explain in detail the nuances of the legislation, and answer all your questions. Want to learn more or start the process today? Contact us. All contacts are listed in the description below this video. We are here to help you take a confident step towards a new life. Give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and ask your questions in the comments. I will be happy to answer them. Discover a world of opportunities with Immigrantinlaw.